Pamela Chanel David. Do you want to step up your game? Pursue your dreams. Be the best version of yourself. The Reinvented Life is here to help. The Reinvented Life is about courage. It's about staying relevant. It takes grit. It defies gravity. It's about taking inventory of where you are today and where you want to go. Embrace change, make things possible, and reinvent your life. Call in with questions at 888-994-4995. Now, it's time to reinvent your life with Pamela Chanel.
Well, hello, everyone. This is Pamela Chanel David with the Reinvented Life, introducing today Coast to Coast Connection. So excited to introduce you to a magnificent author. She's edgy, she's fun. Her name is Amy Minty, and I am so excited to have a conversation about empowerment with her today. Her novels are ones that make people think. They make people think about what they're doing. They make people think about what one is empowering themselves with. So with that, we'll bring on Amy Minty. How are you today, Amy?
I'm very well, thank you. How about yourself?
Wonderful.
Thank you so
I'm
much for
doing
having me on your
great.
show.
Oh, it's
Good.
my pleasure. It's a coast to coast connection. We're excited to introduce this. I'm in California, you're in Florida, and I can't wait for the listeners to really hear about what's behind for Strip or Gamble. So we'll start with, what made you think about this? What was the beginning of the process to develop this book for Strip or Gamble?
Well, I have been writing, obviously, I've written 5 books, and they've all kind of focused on very strong, very smart, and very savvy female characters. They are the bones of my projects. So with this particular book, For Strip or Gamble, I again made up, invented, so you know about inventing, invented 3 very strong female characters and brought them together in a setting which they could not learn from each other, but learn from their experiences with one individual. And they struggle through the book and throughout, but and I, without giving away anything, they all win in their own way. They're all strong and they all come out ahead. So they all triumph, essentially. And so that's a little bit about it. I got to be careful what I say. I don't want to give it away,
Of
but yeah,
course. Yeah, it's just like the movie trailer, right? We're just going to give a
a
little
little
bit of
bit.
taste here, but obviously we're talking about some challenges, we're talking about things that these women have overcome. We're talking about the fact that they've taken those times in life, those situations in life, those challenges in life, and turn them into triumph. So I know when this is done, everyone's going to want to grab a copy of that book and read it. It's quite intriguing and it is quite edgy. So the reflection of a book is generally that of an author. Let's talk a little bit about yourself. Let's talk a little bit about your journey. 5 books, that's quite an accomplishment. And the thought process behind those starts generally with some life experiences, or something that you've been through. So, for yourself personally, as an author, what started your journey into writing?
Well, many things uh, began my journey. I started off living in the city at a very young age. I went to high school in New Jersey, and I moved to Manhattan quite young, like 19. And, I didn't have a big support system. I didn't have a big family. I didn't have a lot of friends. I mean, I had a lot of friends from high school, but, to move away, to just really start your life without any help was hard. It just was unlike those whom I grew up with. in high school and before that. So I just kind of, I made more, I worked a lot. I worked a lot of different jobs and I met a lot of people, and they all were inspiring in different ways, and mainly restaurants. They all people are so strong, and they all have other passions and career paths, things they want to be doing. And I was one of those because I was an actress first. So when you asked me how I got into writing, this was many, many years later, and it kind of developed over a disenchantment of the politics that went into acting. And, no one could tell me I couldn't write, but people could tell me I don't get the audition. They could tell me, they could critique me, my body, my mind, my voice. Whereas with writing, I had a platform in which I could express myself, and ultimately that was satisfying. So I kept going with it. Writing little articles here and there finally led to me being like, you know what, I might be able to write a book, because these characters in my head with my imagination just took on all these levels, and I wasn't satisfied after an article or an essay. I was inspired to keep writing, and that's how it really began.
I love it. We always talk about, at the Reinvented Life, the word invent is at the core of reinvention. And so when you're inventing something, when you're creating something, it starts with an inspiration. And I think, we could all visualize the young adult going to a new city, getting a new start, leaving your foundation, leaving that groundedness that you were used to, and bringing it all to yourself, and bringing it all internally, ultimately with your writing externally, about how you were going to mitigate that terrain, how you were going to take all the stories, all the inspiration, all the artistry, all the business concepts of the people you were meeting, it sounds like, in
Mm-hmm.
those early days, and transforming them ultimately into characters, and bringing that voice forward. That voice of women in the books are really reflective of society, and today it's all about, especially in the times we're in today, about using our voices and using our gifts to give to the world, be it entertainment, be it stories, be it lessons. Um, how do you find that your characters represent some of the stories that you've experienced?
Most of them really don't. They come from, I may have been in the settings that a lot of my stories take place, but I mean, I am in every single character, whether it be, a man, a woman, even a dog. Like, there's part of me in every single little bit of each character. So, I mean, I suppose I bring in, my, I want like equality for women. I want, things, I want all women to be able to speak their mind, to not be shut down, to have equal opportunities. I, if I hear even a joke about a woman in whether it be a blonde or a light bulb joke, I go bananas. I can't. I just got to walk out of the room. So, getting back to the original question, I am in every character. So what I bring to it is simply myself. And I guess you're right. There's experiences that must go into it, even if I'm not sure which ones and when. It's an interesting question.
Yes, and I think the characters the start to reflect the influences from the environment you've been in, the inspiration that you've seen. Perhaps characters in your books that reflect injustices you saw, and you're taking those injustices and you're reflecting them, injustices, and you can be the author and you can create that
Hmm.
paradigm. So it's actually a beautiful way to use one's voice, to use one's influence. And when we start creating for ourselves, we're showing the world what is possible. We're showing others what is possible of how to empower themselves. There has been so much disempowerment around that. When you find a piece that's about empowerment, when you find a piece that's about using one's strength to move someone forward, to overcome an adversity or a
Hmm.
situation, the
Hmm.
way you've weaved that into a story is really what brings the intrigue. Just the title of the book alone is one that you want to grasp, you want to hold on to. It's one of those books you don't want to put down. So, kudos to you for taking all
Thank
of
you.
that and infusing that art. You are welcome. Writing is an art. Writing is how to use the spoken word, put it on a page, and have it come to life in the reader's mind. Share a little bit about what your goal is, not just with the entertainment value of these books, but what you love the reader to take away.
I feel that every book I've written so far, and I know continued that I will continue to write, will continue to leave messages like, I don't want it to be just a good read. I want it people to be like, wow, okay, that was fast. You know, when you see a good movie and you want to go to a cafe after or a restaurant, you want to discuss it, you want to talk about it. Like, I would like my books to also invoke that in people, male and female, and also bring about a satisfaction, like, kind of, okay, the book's done, but I feel good about it. There's so many books I read that, not so many, but many books I read don't leave me with a great empowering feeling at the end, which I hope that mine do, because that's what I'm trying to accomplish. And just I want women especially to, even men, I want them to read it and feel, hey, anything's possible. And these girls, they had nothing, and look where they are now, and look what they might become in Amy Minty's sequel, or what have you. And I'm always inventing new characters because my mind is always going. So I'm always thinking about it. I don't know. So, yeah, that's a short answer.
Well, you are bringing the metaphors to life there, truly, and embracing change is at the core of
Hmm.
all of this. And that's what, when you're reinventing anything, when you are shifting the paradigm from uh, perhaps building confidence in oneself, or perhaps building knowledge of oneself, or learning. The concept of lifelong learning has never been bigger than it is right now. These times are so unprecedented. And the people that are taking the time to learn, the people that are taking the time to figure out for them what are their next steps, what are their gifts that they can bring. And these characters are truly your representation of that learning to the world and how to overcome, and that excitement, as you say, that is generated when you read a great book, or you watch a great movie. So I absolutely love that. Share a little bit, if you would, for the listeners about yourself. A little bit. I know you live in Florida. You were born and raised in New Jersey, and it sounds like to New York. Share a little bit that the listeners would love to know about.
Okay, well, I was actually born and raised until I was 12 in Massachusetts. And
Ah,
yeah, just early years. And then my family moved to New Jersey. So I went to high school in New Jersey. And then I made the transformation to Manhattan. During that time, I was one of those people that never knew what they wanted to do with their life. Never had. I didn't say, oh, I want to be a doctor, or I want to be a lawyer, or I want to be a nurse. That was not me. I was kind of like, who knows what I'll wind up doing. And it was almost easier that way because you feel less scared. Well, at least I felt less scared because I couldn't fail at something I didn't know if I didn't know what it was. So I kind of went to college with that mindset that I could try anything. As long as I could keep paying for the college, I could explore several different options. And I have a new book coming out, actually, a nonfiction book, which tells quite has many stories about myself and my own personal experiences where I had no idea what I wanted to do. I didn't know, and I know what I want to do now, but I'm 46 now. I did not know what I wanted to do until the last 10 years. And for any woman out there feeling like she's not sure, don't worry about it. You'll be okay. Because as long as you keep a positive attitude and don't be afraid to try anything or afraid to change any situation you might be in, then you're going to be just fine. Because somebody looks out for us when we try. They see that positive attracts positive. That's what I know. So when you ask me about myself, it was all exploration and experiences, and it basically built who I am today, but not with a direct path. So my encouragement for everybody out there, all women, sizes, young children, don't be afraid, because someone's looking out for us. They must be.
Oh, I love it. It's about the journey. And truly, what you're describing is it's never too late. It's never too late to
Exactly.
start anew. It's never too late to embrace whatever it may be at any point in your life. And that's what I love. You've actually collected your years of wisdom and brought them into purpose and taking the wisdom of what you've experienced. And I also love that you have had many different experiences living in many different places. And so you have a collective in your life of places and
Hmm.
people and things. And it doesn't necessarily matter what has happened, it's what are you taking from each of those experiences. One can think about it in terms of travel and the travels that you've had along this path of life, you're now bringing to life. And I love what you're saying. You're talking about empowering others. You're talking about people taking all those experiences, maybe not a direct path, but a collective path
Hmm.
together. It's creating a mosaic and taking those puzzle pieces in your life and bringing them forward to again create so that you are bringing and sharing your gifts with others. It's really what it's all about. I really commend you. And to do it through your art form, to do it through the writings. 5 books, you're working on a sixth book. I know there's no end to this because your work is carried through your words. So it's really that gift that you're giving people an opportunity to really learn from and receive and find themselves in.
Yeah, one of the fortunate things about what I do is I can leave some sort of legacy in a way, just like all artists do, painters, hair cutters, everybody who's an artist, if they're the least bit creating, like you say, they're inventing a new haircut or a new color. Um, everybody, most even a graphic, you name it, graphic design. I've been very fortunate to know a lot of artists, a lot of wonderful people, and they're constantly creating and they're constantly reinventing themselves. And it's great to always hear what other people are doing, as well as trying to do the best for everybody out there.
Absolutely. It's inspiring, and what you do is inspiring because it's a way of showcasing your expressing of your ideas. You're giving of the strength and giving of the lessons that you've learned along the way, teaching those to others. And as people are open to receiving those gifts, those wisdom that you're bringing forward, it's amazing. Do you have a tip for people about expression? Is there one tip you can think of? I
Yeah,
know we're going to be winding down here.
sure. Probably the biggest tip is use humor, like or be upbeat about it. If you're gonna try to change someone's mind or inspire them to be better, to be better than what they think they are, to make them feel more, so whether it be self confident or or what have you. Um, if you kind of like go about it in like a less, it doesn't have to be so serious. It can be, it can be fun. We can make things fun. I mean, I know that I, a year ago, before COVID and before riots breaking out everywhere and everything else, I never thought I'd do Facebook Live music videos starring myself. You know, and it was a joke at first. It was funny. But then I realized I could, if I'm reaching people, I can, it can be so much more. It can be a message here and there telling, you know, with upbeat songs and songs that make you feel good and you remember better times and it makes you maybe possibly remember something that made you feel like you could be better. Again, it goes correlates with your reinventing theories. So yes, it's good.
Well, what I'm hearing you say is let people see a piece of them in you. Let them see the authentic
Mhm.
you, the crazy,
Yes.
kooky music
Be
video,
yourself.
um,
Yes.
and be yourself. And I think
Mhm.
that's the most important is that when you showcase yourself, whether that be through a fun music video, maybe another artistic expression, or just something that people want to bring, people can see pieces of themselves in that. And that's what makes it relatable. You're very relatable. Your stories are very relatable. As I say, they're edgy and they're fun and they're captivating and people want to grab them. But at the end of the day, I think people see a piece of themselves in those characters. And that's really what your gifts are.
Well, thank you. All my writing is honest. It's definitely honest. I don't see the point in writing frivolous stuff. You know, I like real people, real personalities. Um, you know, it's not always pretty. My characters are not always the nicest people. They're not always the friendliest, but they're pretty honest. So,
Well, they're real. And whether people see things of themselves in it or people they know in it, the key is that it's relatable. And
hmm
at the end of the day, today is all about relatability. Today is all about how can we relate to our friends, our family, our coworkers, our neighbors, our communities in a greater way. And part of it is tapping into who people are authentically. One of the beautiful things, actually, that these last several months have brought to everyone is a realness about who people are, what they're doing, and a sort of unilateral feel of looking for the feel goods. And that's what you bring in those fun music videos you do, or with your characters, as you say, it may not always be the perfect setting or the perfect scenario that your characters are faced with, but they deal with them in a real life way. And so, real life is really what brings your books to life. Where do people find your books?
oh, well, my website, amyminty.com, will lead you right to Amazon, or you can go directly to Amazon and put my name in. Just my name is enough. You can Google me, my name. It's actually my books are actually my latest book is sold in. I know people aren't traveling right now, but is sold in JFK and LaGuardia and Penn Station
Beautiful.
and Port Authority in the newsstands. So if you do have to visit loved ones or whatnot, you can kind of glance over in those directions. So I agree with you
Beautiful.
very much about the awareness of today. Today has brought so much awareness, at least for me, and I'm sure many of my friends and family. We're all. It's more like we were just kind of living in this bubble, and then someone had to like crack it, and we're like, whoa, like we didn't
Well, it's
we really took it for granted. We took life for granted, and as horrendous as this has been and saddening, it's also it's a wake up call. So you're
It
right
is a
about
wake
the
up call.
awareness.
It is a
Yeah,
wake up call. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Thank you, Amy, for your vulnerability, your incredible
thank
works.
you.
Coast to coast connection. Love it. We'll definitely look forward to having you again soon.
Okay, that'd be great. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you to our listeners. Thank you to everyone. It's amyminty.com. Find Amy, find those books, read them, and enjoy them.
Thank you for tuning in to The Reinvented Life with Pamela Chanel David. Tune in each week so we can work and grow together to become the best version of ourselves. Keep striving, keep dreaming, keep working, and embrace change. You may contact Pamela Chanel at info@thereinventedlife.com.